Okay, now we've got some users in our database, we can test these users and try and log in with them. But before we do, we're going to need to create some helper classes to do so, and what we're going to use for this is DTOs, or Data Transfer Objects. And in the field of programming, a data transfer object is an object that carries data between processes. And in our case, we're going to want to receive data from our clients, and we're going to want to return an object to our clients after they've logged in. And that's what we're going to be using DTOs for in this case. By the way, I should mention one of the great things about using an off-the-shelf identity package such as ASP.NET Core Identity is the complexities of saving passwords in our database is taken care of for us. So even though we use the same password for the 3 users, notice that the password hash is different for each of these different users. That's because they've also been salted, and they've been iterated over 10,000 times by default in ASP.NET Core Identity. That makes these passwords, even if our database is compromised, incredibly difficult to work out. And each one of these passwords, even though it would result in the same actual password after somebody has made the effort to work them out, it's going to have to be done for every single password. Even if we have 50 passwords that are all the same, there's no easy way to do this. I'm not saying this is impossible to be cracked. It is not. Given enough computing power and the tools available to crack passwords, it would be possible, but it's going to take time to crack each of these different password hashes into the real password. So I'm not saying it's okay for your database to be compromised. It's not, but it does give you a head start, and if your database is compromised, it gives you time to contact your users and tell them that they need to update their passwords. And of course, this is better than storing it in just a password hash itself or in clear text. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to Solution Explorer, and inside our API, we're going to create a new folder, and we're going to call this DTOs. And inside here, we're going to right-click, create a new class, and we're going to create a login DTO. And all we're going to have inside here, let's just clean things up at the top. And all we're going to have inside here is 2 properties. What we need to get from the user in order to enable them to log in. So the first property is going to be a string, and it's going to be their email address. And we'll also have a string that's going to store their password. And we're also going to create another DTO. And this is going to be for register. So we'll call it register DTO. And in this one, what we're going to have is the prop of a string for their display name. And we're going to have a prop of string for their email. And we'll have a prop of string for the password they want to use. And we'll also get a string of the username they want to use as well. And we'll create one more DTO, and this is what we're going to return to the user. And we're going to call this one user DTO. What information do we want to send back to the user after they've successfully logged in? So what we're going to do in this one is we're going to pass back the string of their display name so that we can display this in the browser after they've successfully logged in. We're also going to send back a token, and I'll explain about the token as we come onto it, but this is what they're going to be using to authenticate to the API. We'll also send back a string of their username, and we'll also send back the string of an image of the user's main photo. Now I know we haven't come onto images yet, but we will do a bit later, and we'll just add the properties that we're going to eventually be returning back to the client after they've logged in. So now we've got our supporting classes. What we're going to take a look at next is adding an account controller and adding the method to actually log in a user.